Those sudden, sharp leg cramps can really steal your peace, can't they? As we get older, our bodies sometimes seem to have a mind of their own, waking us up at night with painful muscle spasms or interrupting our favorite activities. But here's some good news. What you choose to put on your plate could make all the difference. We often talk about foods that help with leg cramps, but have you ever wondered which foods might actually be making them worse? It's not about giving up all your favorites, it's about making small, smart swaps that let you enjoy life without the unwelcome surprise of leg cramps. We know it takes courage to look at changing lifelong eating habits. That's why we want to cheer you on as you take this important step toward more comfortable days and restful nights. After all, shouldn't your golden years be filled with joyful movement and peaceful sleep rather than worrying about the next cramp? Let's explore these 8 common foods that might be triggering your leg cramps. Together, we'll find tasty alternatives that keep you feeling your best. Remember, every positive change, no matter how small, is a victory worth celebrating. Before we get started, I'd love to know where you're joining me from today. Drop a comment below and feel free to ask any questions you have. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a health-boosting tip from Dr. Bruce Newman. First, let's talk about processed meats with nitrates and preservatives. Processed meats like bacon, deli meats, hot dogs, and sausages, often staples in seniors' diets, can secretly fuel painful nighttime leg cramps due to their nitrates, nitrites, and preservatives, which disrupt muscle function and circulation beyond the effects of their high sodium content. It's genuinely distressing to endure those sharp, unexpected muscle spasms that disrupt sleep and daily comfort, and I deeply empathize with anyone grappling with this discomfort. Nitrates, while capable of converting to nitric oxide, a molecule that supports blood vessel dilation and skeletal muscle function, become problematic in processed meats, especially when cooked at high temperatures, transforming into nitrosamines. These compounds reduce blood flow, potentially contributing to peripheral artery disease, and deprive leg muscles of oxygen, increasing cramp risk. For older adults, this is compounded by nitrates' inflammatory effects, which disrupt the balance of calcium, magnesium, and potassium, essential minerals for preventing muscle spasms. Common culprits include bacon and breakfast meats, laden with nitrosamines when fried, deli meats like corned beef and salami, hot dogs, sausages, jerky, and canned meats, all packed with preservatives that trigger inflammation. Even nitrate-free labeled products often contain high nitrate levels from natural sources like celery salt, processed similarly by the body. Healthier protein alternatives can support muscle health without these risks, such as fresh, unprocessed poultry, fish, or lean meats, providing amino acids without inflammatory additives. Fatty fish like salmon offer protein, anti-inflammatory omega-3s, and cramp-fighting nutrients like B vitamins, potassium, magnesium, and phosphorus, while plant-based proteins like beans and legumes deliver electrolytes to prevent spasms. Grass-fed meats, with fewer inflammatory compounds, and Greek yogurt, rich in calcium, potassium, and phosphorus, also promote muscle function. Cooking these at lower temperatures, baking, steaming, or slow cooking rather than high-heat grilling or frying avoids forming harmful compounds. By switching to these nutrient-rich, preservative-free options, seniors can improve circulation, maintain mineral balance, and significantly reduce leg cramps, fostering better muscle health and more restful, pain-free nights. 2. Refined carbohydrates that spike blood sugar. Refined carbohydrates, found in processed foods like white bread, pasta, and sugary snacks, can be a hidden culprit behind painful leg cramps in seniors by causing rapid blood sugar spikes and drops that disrupt muscle function. It's truly disheartening to endure those sudden, intense muscle spasms that can interrupt sleep or daily activities, and I deeply sympathize with anyone experiencing this discomfort. Muscles rely on glucose as their primary energy source for proper contraction and relaxation. But quick blood sugar fluctuations common with refined carbs leave muscles starved for fuel, triggering cramps. This effect is particularly pronounced in people with diabetes, where both high and low blood glucose levels exacerbate spasms. Low glucose deprives muscles of energy, while high levels prompt excessive urination, flushing out vital electrolytes like magnesium, calcium, and potassium. Common refined carbs to avoid include white flour baked goods and breads, white rice, pasta, processed breakfast cereals, refined sugar sources, and packaged snack foods, which not only spike blood sugar but also deplete magnesium during digestion without providing nutritional benefits. Instead, seniors can opt for complex carbohydrates like whole grains such as oats and quinoa, dried fruits like figs, beans, lentils, and seeds, which deliver steady energy and are rich in magnesium to support calcium and vitamin D absorption, helping prevent cramps. Nutritionists recommend that adults over 60 derive 45 to 65% of their diet from complex carbs, with men aiming for 30 grams of fiber daily and women 21 grams, to maintain stable blood glucose and ensure muscles have consistent fuel, reducing cramp risk. Timing is also key. Consuming carbs 3 to 4 hours before physical activity provides muscles with adequate energy, especially on active days. By prioritizing nutrient-dense complex carbohydrates, balancing intake, and timing meals strategically, seniors can stabilize blood sugar, preserve electrolyte balance, and significantly reduce leg cramps, fostering better muscle health and greater comfort for more restful nights and active days. 3. Foods high in oxalates that affect calcium absorption. Nutrient-rich plant foods, often celebrated for their health benefits, can surprisingly contribute to leg cramps in seniors due to oxalates, natural compounds that interfere with the absorption of essential minerals needed for muscle function. It's truly disheartening to endure those sudden, painful muscle spasms that disrupt sleep or daily routines, and I deeply sympathize with anyone facing this discomfort. Oxalates, found in certain plants, bind to calcium and magnesium in the digestive tract, forming crystals that are excreted, with 2 to 20% of dietary oxalates absorbed, reducing the availability of calcium for muscles and potentially triggering cramps. These anti-nutrients also latch onto magnesium and iron, limiting their absorption even from mineral-rich foods, and can cause muscle aches as oxalic acid crystals accumulate in tissues. High oxalate foods, containing over 50 milligrams per 100 gram serving, include leafy greens like spinach, Swiss chard, beet greens and rhubarb, root vegetables such as beets, sweet potatoes and potatoes with skin, nuts like almonds, cashews, and peanuts, and other items like cocoa, chocolate, black tea, and soy products. Those with 10 milligrams or more per serving, especially spinach and rhubarb, warrant caution for cramp-prone individuals. To balance these foods without eliminating their nutrients, pairing them with calcium-rich options like cheese or yogurt allows calcium to bind oxalates in the intestines, reducing absorption. Boiling vegetables like spinach or Swiss chard cuts oxalate content by 30 to 87%, making steaming or boiling preferable. Drinking ample water also helps flush oxalates naturally. By adopting these strategies, seniors can enjoy nutrient-dense foods while minimizing oxalate-related mineral depletion, reducing leg cramps, and enhancing muscle health for greater comfort. 4. Alcohol and its dehydrating effects. Alcohol consumption significantly heightens the risk of nocturnal leg cramps, with research showing drinkers are 6.5 times more likely to experience these painful spasms. A concern amplified for seniors whose bodies process alcohol differently. It's deeply distressing to endure those sudden, intense leg cramps that disrupt sleep, and I truly sympathize with anyone facing this discomfort. Acting as a potent diuretic, Alcohol increases urine production, leading to dehydration, the primary trigger for muscle cramps, while disrupting the body's delicate electrolyte balance. Nearly 50% of chronic alcohol users develop hypokalemia, low potassium levels, due to poor diet, vomiting, diarrhea, and increased urinary losses, while long-term drinking often causes hyponatremia, a common sodium imbalance that affects water distribution in muscles, prompting painful contractions. Alcohol also depletes magnesium, vital for muscle function, causing a cascade effect that reduces phosphate levels, further elevating cramp risk, especially at night. Seniors are particularly vulnerable due to slower alcohol metabolism, reduced muscle mass amplifying alcohol's effects, diminished thirst perception especially after age 80 masking dehydration, increased inflammation from cytokines like TNF-alpha and IL-6, and damage to type Roman II muscle fibers, which naturally decline with age. Healthier alternatives include electrolyte-infused water to replenish minerals, warm broth rich in sodium and potassium, tart cherry juice with anti-inflammatory properties, coconut water packed with natural electrolytes, and caffeine-free herbal teas for hydration without diuretic effects. Gradually reducing alcohol and embracing these hydrating options helps maintain electrolyte balance and hydration, significantly alleviating leg cramps and enhancing comfort for seniors. 5. Sugar-laden foods that cause inflammation. Sugar-laden foods, beloved by many seniors, can unexpectedly fuel painful nighttime leg cramps by sparking inflammation, often termed sugar aches, that directly contributes to muscle pain and spasms. It's truly distressing to endure those sudden, wrenching cramps that disrupt sleep, and I deeply sympathize with anyone facing this discomfort. High-sugar foods cause wild blood sugar swings, disrupting the balance of calcium, magnesium, and potassium minerals essential for muscle function, leading to cramps when levels falter. Excessive sugar also weakens bones and reduces calcium absorption, impairing muscle contraction and relaxation while increasing injury risk during spasms. Studies highlight that sugar-driven losses of potassium and magnesium, critical for muscle relaxation, keep muscles tense, triggering nocturnal cramps. Hidden sugars lurk in processed sauces like ketchup and barbecue, over-the-counter medicines, so-called healthy breakfast cereals, flavored yogurts, and even bread and crackers, with the World Health Organization urging added sugars stay below 10% of daily calories to curb inflammation risks. Anti-inflammatory alternatives can help, such as magnesium-rich leafy greens, nuts, and seeds, which reduce cramp frequency, or potassium-packed bananas, avocados, potatoes, and greens to support muscle and nerve function. Salmon, rich in B vitamins, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, and anti-inflammatory omega-3s, eases muscle pain, while hydrating watermelon delivers magnesium and potassium. Fermented foods like natural pickles and kimchi provide electrolytes without inflammatory additives. By cutting sugary foods and embracing these protective options, seniors can reduce inflammation, restore mineral balance, and alleviate leg cramps, enhancing muscle health and restful nights. 6. Caffeine-containing beverages and foods. The daily caffeine fix from coffee, tea, or energy drinks, enjoyed by about 90% of U.S. adults, can unexpectedly worsen nighttime leg cramps in seniors by disrupting electrolyte balance and muscle function. It's truly distressing to endure those sudden, painful muscle spasms that jolt you awake, and I deeply sympathize with anyone grappling with this discomfort. Caffeine acts as a diuretic, increasing urination and causing fluid loss, which depletes potassium, a critical electrolyte for muscle performance, leading to imbalances that trigger cramps. By shifting potassium from the bloodstream into cells, caffeine induces hypokalemia, low blood potassium, directly linked to muscle spasms, with even moderate intake altering levels, a risk heightened in seniors prone to electrolyte imbalances. Caffeine also boosts cardiac output and glomerular filtration rate, further increasing fluid and potassium excretion, exacerbating nocturnal cramps. Beyond obvious sources like coffee, with 95 to 333 milligrams per 8 ounces, and energy drinks, which often exceed this. Caffeine hides in tea, sodas, flavored waters, dark chocolate, and medications like Tylenol, Excedrin, and Midol, as well as additives like guarana, kola nut, yerba mate, taurine, and theanine, making it easy to surpass the recommended 400 milligrams daily limit. Since 3 out of 4 leg cramps occur at night, consuming caffeine in the late afternoon or evening, when it lingers in the system for about 5 hours, can disrupt sleep and muscle recovery, with medical experts advising against bedtime caffeine to mitigate dehydration and electrolyte issues. Healthier alternatives include water with electrolytes, as 6 to 8 glasses daily prevent dehydration-induced cramps, especially post-exercise when plain water may dilute electrolytes. Caffeine-free herbal teas, diluted natural fruit juices, and vegetable juices rich in potassium and magnesium support muscle function without diuretic effects. Setting an early afternoon caffeine cutoff and prioritizing electrolyte-rich fluids help maintain balance, reducing cramp frequency. Since caffeine sensitivity varies, seniors should monitor their body's response and adjust intake to minimize leg cramps, fostering better muscle health and restful nights. 7. Highly processed foods with excessive sodium. Processed foods, contributing to 75% of dietary salt intake, pose a significant threat to seniors' muscle health by driving excessive sodium consumption, which can trigger painful leg cramps. It's deeply upsetting to endure those sudden, intense muscle spasms that disrupt sleep or daily routines, and I sincerely empathize with anyone experiencing this discomfort. The body requires a small amount of sodium to transmit nerve signals and facilitate muscle contractions, but maintaining this balance becomes challenging with age, as people often consume nearly double the necessary amount, directly impacting muscle function. Excess sodium causes the body to retain water to dilute blood sodium levels, increasing blood volume and straining the heart, which reduces muscle circulation in seniors. High-sodium diets may exacerbate muscle weakness linked to sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, with studies showing older adults' skeletal muscles store more sodium than younger individuals, potentially explaining their higher cramp frequency. Conversely, low sodium levels, hyponatremia, from overconsuming plain water without electrolyte replacement post-exercise or sweating, also cause cramps or weakness. Common high-sodium culprits include fast foods like pizza, hamburgers, and fries, snack foods such as potato chips and salted crackers, processed meats like salami, hot dogs, and luncheon meats, packaged meals including instant pasta and soups, prepackaged sauces and condiments like soy sauce and pickles, and surprisingly, bread and cereals. Restaurant meals, often saltier than home-cooked food, further elevate intake, with the World Health Organization recommending no more than 5 grams of salt daily, a limit exceeded in many countries, like Japan, where men average 11.0 grams and women 9.3 grams. Healthier alternatives rich in electrolytes can mitigate cramps, such as potassium-packed bananas, oranges, and potatoes to support muscle and nerve communication. Magnesium-rich leafy greens, nuts, and seeds to aid muscle relaxation, and calcium-containing Greek yogurt for key electrolytes. Hydrating with diluted electrolyte solutions, rather than plain water, prevents dilution of minerals like potassium and sodium, while anti-inflammatory salmon provides B vitamins, potassium, magnesium, and phosphorus. Choosing fresh meats and rinsing canned vegetables or beans reduces sodium, helping seniors maintain electrolyte balance, alleviate leg cramps, and enhance muscle health for more comfortable, restful days and nights. 8. Certain dairy products that may trigger cramps. Some dairy products that are typically praised for their calcium content may actually worsen leg cramps for certain people, especially older adults. While calcium is crucial for healthy muscle function, not all dairy affects the body the same way. Many seniors who suffer from leg cramps may find it frustrating and confusing when the very foods they consume for bone and muscle health end up triggering discomfort. High-fat dairy products like whole milk and certain cheeses can promote inflammation, potentially aggravating cramps. Similarly, flavored yogurts and processed cheeses often contain added sugars and sodium, which can disrupt the body's electrolyte balance, an important factor in muscle function. Timing matters too. Consuming heavy dairy products close to bedtime might interfere with how minerals are processed during sleep, increasing the chances of nighttime leg cramps. There's also the so-called calcium paradox, where people in countries with low calcium intake often experience fewer bone fractures than those in high dairy-consuming countries. This highlights the fact that our bodies don't absorb all the calcium we consume, and an excess might even lead to calcium buildup in soft tissues and arteries. For postmenopausal women, this is particularly concerning, as they face both a decline in bone mass and a higher risk of vascular calcification. Moreover, too much calcium can hinder the absorption of magnesium, a key mineral that helps muscles relax and prevents cramps. If you're struggling with leg cramps, you're not alone. It can be incredibly frustrating to feel like your healthy choices are working against you. Fortunately, there are alternatives. Calcium-fortified plant-based milks, leafy greens like kale and bok choy, tofu made with calcium sulfate, and seeds such as chia and sesame offer excellent calcium sources without the downside. Low-fat dairy options like kefir or plain Greek yogurt can also be helpful, as they contain beneficial probiotics and electrolytes that support muscle health. The key is to find what works for your body, because when it comes to nutrition and wellness, one size rarely fits all. Now that we've gone through each foods in detail, here's a summary table to bring everything together. This comparison gives you a clear overview of the foods that may trigger leg cramps, how they affect the body, and most importantly, what healthier alternatives you can choose. It's a simple, at-a-glance guide to help you remember the key points and take practical steps toward reducing nighttime cramps and improving your muscle health. Your dietary choices can prevent leg cramps when you know which foods trigger them. Each food category, from processed foods high in sodium to refined carbohydrates, affects your muscle function through distinct mechanisms. These foods disrupt vital minerals like calcium, magnesium, and potassium that your muscles need to contract and relax properly. Smart substitutions work better than eliminating these foods completely. Fresh proteins can replace processed meats, naturally sweet fruits can substitute sugary treats, and complex carbohydrates serve as better options than refined ones. Your blood sugar levels stay stable with these changes that provide the nutrients needed to prevent painful muscle contractions. Balanced mineral intake and proper hydration is significant to prevent leg cramps. Your food choices tracked for several weeks can reveal correlations between specific items and cramping episodes. This personal insight helps you identify unique triggers and make better food decisions. Small dietary adjustments often create the most important results. Your body adapts better when you start with one or two changes from this piece, maybe even switching from processed snacks to mineral-rich alternatives or reducing caffeine intake. These changes build green habits that reduce leg cramp frequency and intensity. Drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts, questions, or what topic you'd like us to cover next. We love hearing from you. Of course, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can never miss out on our latest health tips and insights. Stay informed, stay healthy, and we'll see you in the next video.